when you work with coloured pencils, it's always a little bit tricky to think about how you're going to create a background. And I work on predominantly two surfaces, drafting film and pastel mat. Drafting film, what I'm using here for this particular piece is a plastic surface. It's amazing for coloured pencils, but you try and create a background with it, it's really, really tricky because you can't really blend. So I found a fantastic medium to use with coloured pencils to create lovely backgrounds on drafting film, combined with coloured pencils, so it's a mixed media piece. I can't use regular pastels, soft pastels, pan pastels. I'm allergic to them. And so I've always sort of steered clear of drawing backgrounds because, you know, coloured pencil, I've always found in the past it's really quite tricky to create them. I've since found an amazing way of doing them. However, on drafting film, I use Neopastels. So these are from Caran d'Ache and they are oil pastels. So they are soft, sticky, sort of sticks of pastel, not like a normal soft pastel at all. That is completely different medium, and they're amazing on drafting film. So you can see here I'm just sort of plotting the colours in, and then I've made this little this little device. It's actually a paper stump with a little bit of kneadable eraser, Faber-Castell kneadable eraser stuck on the end. So it becomes this little tool for just picking out little tiny circles, which I needed for this particular background. It's a bouquet background. So I pop the colour in. I then use a paper stump to blend, which works beautifully on the drafting film. I then take this little tool that I created and just erase out gently those little bouquet spots all around, and it worked brilliantly. The coloured pencil then works fantastically on the top, so I can then bring in a little bit more depth, like you can see I'm doing here, and just create something really, really, really pretty. It's a lifesaver for somebody who can't use pastels like me, and who, you know, struggles using coloured pencils for smooth backgrounds on drafting film, because it's really quite tricky to blend on drafting film. So something like this works really, really, really nicely. And this is basically what I did. I went in with the Tombow as well, the Tombow Mono, another great little tool for sort of picking out those nice soft circles. Using a little bit of a tissue as well in there just to blend and smooth out that oil pastel. And it really does work beautifully, really, really beautifully. I've used this technique now on a few different pieces, and yeah, works a treat. So if you fancy giving it a go, they are the Caran d'Ache Neopastels. They're not the Neo Colour or the Neo Colour 2. They're the Neopastels. They're the Neopastels, so they're the oil-based pastels. And very sticky, so when you put them on the film they kind of make that kind of sticky tacky noise, but they work brilliantly. And once you've got them on and you smudge them in, they're not going to come off, you know. So yeah, worked absolutely wonderfully. You can see here just kind of bringing in a rough idea and then smoothing it all, and then just picking out the little circles here. Very, very easy to do, a little bit time consuming. This was 3 hours I think created to create the background, but you know, it just you know, it's great for me because I can't use pastels, and as I kind of worked through the piece I became more proficient. I think that's the case with everything, isn't it? Became more proficient. I kind of added a little bit more of the colour in there as well, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, I have to say. The rest of the piece, you can see here, this I love this, where it looks so rough and ready, and then all of a sudden it looks absolutely fabulous when you've just smoothed it out and taken all of those little bits and pieces out. And then I did the rest of the piece in colour pencil, and it was, yeah, a really, really super piece to do with a background, and it worked fabulously.